to another scene set in the Chronicles of Darkness, Vampire the Requiem, Requiem for London. Tonight we set our scene in Elysium.
Okay.
In Southwark. In the ever famous Shard complex. The brilliant tower that overlooks the London Bridge, with a 300 meters high, giving one a beautiful view of the city of London and all of its dark and postmodern splendor. And it is on the uppermost floors of the Shard that Elysium is being held. Hosted, of course, by one of the keepers. And the king and the queen, with Brummagem folks as a special attendee, for it is his domain in which the Elysium is being held. And surrounding all of these magnificent elders of the night are many other kindred, flitting about to and fro, feeding on the many vessels that have either been seduced, coerced, or paid to be here for the benefit of the most predatory of guests. Mr. Smith, you are also present this evening. Accompanying you as Miss Mattis and Mr. Chow. An independent-minded Carthian and a guillotine. And of course there are various other kindred present, including Inquisitor Scarcliffe of the Sanctified, noteworthy for his signature red glasses, and Lady Kana of the Invictus, a woman with a very austere sense of style.
I feel like you... Oh. No, you finish, I guess.
With long red hair, bright red tattoos on her arms that are more like... it's more like paint than a tattoo. It looks almost like a red bracer. This encompasses her whole forearm. And long golden earrings. And of course there's Mr. Folks. Primogen Folks, really. One must pay the proper respect to a man of such station.
Yeah.
To a kindred of such station.
So, Chris, a couple of questions. With the relevant allies, have I been able to get enough information on him?
Well, you already got some information from Miss Mattis. What else were you looking for?
Just more incriminating evidence. Or at least, it's like, incriminating. Everybody else now knows his financial information. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like, damn him. Like, look. You know what I'm saying? I guess. Like, give them an easier target.
You know... So, not much information comes from the Carthy and friends outside of Miss Mattis.
Oh yeah, no,
They're not exactly. They're not much. You know, they're not exactly the scalpels of the operation.
Yeah.
But over the last couple of nights, you've been contact with Lady Kana, who has been slipping you bits and pieces of information surrounding Folks's political situation, shall we say, here and there, and his financial situation. It's definitely more of the same. Evidence that compounds with Mattis's. She's definitely holding some stuff back, though. More financial wrongdoing. Enough to make Waldemar very unpopular, but you're not sure if it would be enough to get him ousted by the king and the queen personally. I mean, it's not like he's been shortchanging them. You'd need evidence of that. You know he's been shortchanging just about everybody else. Or at least he's been quite happy to do so against... He's been quite happy to move on other Primogen.
Yeah.
So where there's smoke, well, you already know there's a fire.
Yeah.
The question is how big it is. If anybody's likely to know, it'd be Kana, but she hasn't... She's been holding out a bit on you, and you're not sure why.
Yeah, I mean, I could guess why. I guess a couple reasons why.
So, the Elysium is rife with entertainment, exchange in blood.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Huh. Would I know if it'd be a good idea to just present the evidence that I have? Like, at least let other people examine it, just because, like, how it was obtained.
You do want to examine it.
Well, I meant no, let other people see it and, like, observe it, go through it, etc.
You want other people to go through it?
Well, I mean, if somebody else were to, it's not...
Okay.
Or whatever. I'm just wondering. Like, that's it. If there's, like... If not, that's fine. I don't think I need to do it with the angle I'm rocking.
Who would you have go through it?
It is less for the king and the queen and more for the people at the Elysium. Ben's thought is to turn the room against cults first. Trying to make it a bit hostile for a bit. Slowly push the agenda. You know what I mean? Rather than just being like, you know, like, he did this. The rest of the room of this, and then slowly turn it.
Alright, make me a, make me either a manipulation expression roll or a manipulation socialize roll as you attempt to spread some rumors around the room.
I will take socialize.
And I'll say, because you have evidence to back up what your, but to back up your rumor mongering, I'll say take 3 dice. Plus 3 dice.
Cool. Especially in fitting in, probably. Actually, would it apply because I'm the kitchen?
What applies?
Fitting in.
Fitting in? Not
this
really.
particular situation. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because it's more like you're trying to get somebody to fit out.
Well, it's... Yeah, no, it's fine. Alright. 2 successes.
Alright, excellent. So,
Yeah.
room. The room's atmosphere demonstrably shifts over the next hour or so. People get to whisper, and the information spreads quickly. And Primogen Folks notices, he sees how people tend to look away when he looks at them. It troubles him. It alarms him. He notices the shift in body language. He knows something is going on here. And he wants to know what it is.
I'm gonna uncanny sense him. All this is, you know, if I can.
Oh, pardon?
I'm gonna uncanny sense him now that he is unnerved.
Mm-hmm. I'll roll it.
Wait, uncanny sense is intelligence plus empathy, right? Plus awesome. Yeah.
Is intelligence plus empathy plus suspects?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. 4 successes.
Ooh, what do you want to ask?
Has he done anything to the king or queen?
Pardon?
Has he done anything to the king or queen? At least attack them monetarily, or at least in the way that he's been attacking the other people.
Okay. So has he been attacking the king and queen?
Well, not necessarily attacking, but has he been doing similar sorts? Has he been making plays against the king or the? That'll be a better.
Okay. So you see in one glass a whole bunch of vitae poured in to the point where it's about half full.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see some more vitae poured into another glass. That you'd say is about half empty.
Yeah.
And he'll take the one that is half full, leaving a half empty glass of vitae. At a lovely but lonely dining table. Fit for two, only one glass. Such a shame. And it had to be the half empty one too.
Is there anything that distinguishes the glasses from each other? At all?
No.
Okay. He very clearly seems to be up to something. In that regard.
Mm.
And you said he drank the half empty one, not the half full one. Yeah?
He took one of them away. You didn't see him drink it per se, but you saw him keep it for himself.
Oh, okay. So, like, definitely taking something, I guess.
He used to say the beast is a terribly
fickle.
cryptic thing.
Okay, that's something. How does he feel about the king and the queen? Just broadly.
You get a sense of boredom, bit of fear, segregation, independence. At times, frustration and suspicion.
Mm-hmm. How good is he still with the Ordo? If he was at all. I know the Black team had their ties. So.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
How good is he in with the Ordo still? Or how good in with the Ordo is he?
The Ordo?
You know. Yeah, because this is just a question. I'm curious. Because Black team had pretty strong affiliations, yeah?
Neutral.
Neutral? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a general question. Would I have known if he stopped doing what he was doing prior? Or like, has he continued doing what he's been doing, just that Nova gave back a bunch of the the money.
Your vision indicates he certainly hasn't stopped. You see a whole map of the city he's got lined up. It's like a giant monopoly board of London.
Mm.
And he's gonna
Fair
build
enough.
on this tile, and this tile, and this tile. Eventually he'll have
Yep.
all the fucking tiles.
Are there any other pieces on the board? Notable pieces or not?
Oh, there's lots of pieces and players. That's why he's half tempted to flip the board, but alas, he has the time and money to wait.
Yeah.
Right now, most of the board belongs to the king and the queen.
Fair. Is there anything that he's eyeing off the king and the queen, or is that indistinguishable from my viewpoint?
Oh, you see he's looking at the, he's got his piece on the waterworks, the water utilities. Although it's very red. I guess you could call it the blood utilities. The blood works.
Oh, the rack. Interesting. Okay. Ben will continue his rumor mongering for a bit and seeing if he can find anything about if anybody, since like people are now talking about it, or at least involvement, seeing if he can get that sort of information in pertaining to Millennium finances and the rack.
Well, pardon?
I'm gonna see if I can find, like, while rumor mongering, see if I hear anybody talking about Millennium Finance, like buying a property, buyer, or in the racks.
Hmm.
'Cause
You don't find anything about the rack. Or at least nobody's
Okay.
tried to get anything from the rack as far as you know.
Okay. Hmm. And the neonate Invictus doesn't have anything or doesn't seem keen to share.
Do you go up and talk to her?
Sure. Oh, well, is this the person that was my contact or not?
Yes, she is.
Oh, yeah. And I'll go and speak with her.
I'll just give you a face claim real quick.
Yeah. Then what's the I know Falks and the King and Queen and them, but then there was the who?
Good evening, Mr. Smith.
Evening.
Wonderful, wonderful place for an Elysium, don't you think?
Ah, yes, I heard the furnaces here are lovely.
Wouldn't
He'll
know
say
any.
with this, with this knowing smile. Or nervous smile, something.
Wouldn't know anything about it before my time, I'm afraid.
Uh, I was curious if you heard about any real estate expansion towards the rack of London. Hello.
Not the direction our friend is heading in, I think.
Mm. Is then what direction is he heading in? Pray tell.
I suppose that depends.
If our good friend decides to punch up for a change, that kind of direction.
I suppose that. That is something. That could be shared. At the cost of a favour.
Mm. What sort of favor? Something a bit more immediate, long term.
You tell me.
Can I make a quick empathy roll just to make sure she's good for the information, and then a politics to sort of divine what would be a good boon. Because that's good.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll do the empathy first and then the other one. Single success on the empathy. Then, what would it be? Wits or in politics? It would be, yeah.
Yeah, what's in politics?
Wits politics?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. A single success. So I got one success in the politics, one success in the empathy.
Okay. The first rolls, I'll say that it's pretty obvious she's a woman of ambition.
Mm-hmm.
So she probably wants to move up in the world. Maybe she would want... Maybe she wants Folks' spot. But... if she's open to... if she's open to the idea of passing on the information for you to deal with, maybe she's considering whether or not it would be better if the ensuing scandal were not tied back to her. As for favours, maybe some security from reprisals and an admission of her involvement would sway her.
Well, I'll make sure nobody know that we spoke. At least about this. And I have plenty of ways to introduce you to people. You just let me know what you want. I'll see if I can make it happen. I wouldn't be where I am if I wasn't a well-connected individual, after all.
Of course. Then if I asked for some muscle and was given a bit of discretion in how it was applied, that would be fair.
So the muscle are you looking for in particular, just so I know what you.
What do you think muscle means?
I can get a couple people.
I may need more than a couple.
I can get you enough people. It'd have to be a mix, I'd imagine. But I can definitely get you a good deal of bodies.
That's all I would ask for.
I'll not consider it done. As a show of good faith, he'll like text some of his street allies and see if there were one or two Carthians I'd be willing to assist in that endeavor. Or get some Carthians to assist that would be more willing to. We're more willing to mingle with the other side.
Well, the guillotine certainly won't, but
Yeah, no shit.
there are a number of Carthians who are happy to play ball. If it brings down an arrogant Invictus a peg.
Yeah. I'll give her a nod. So,
Pleasure doing business with you.
pleasure.
She will she'll lean forward and whisper into your ear. Our friend has been skimming off the top on his blood tax. He's been doing so for a while. I'm not sure Pastor B would be very happy if they learned of that.
Give a smile. A nod. He'll sort of flood about the room a bit more, trying to get some distance between her. Just more or less have talking to her just be another note in Ben's night rather than a protracted thing as per their deal. You want me to make a roll to actively get away or conceal that? And then
No, you don't have to.
Okay. Cool, cool. But after a while, after letting folks like ruminate on this, Ben will do what any rowdy Carthian and he'll get like a chair and he'll basically set up a vantage point. And he'll sort of get up. And as sarcastically as possible, be like, well, what a lovely that's not Ben's voice, god damn it. Well, what a lovely evening we're having. No, and all thanks to our dearest Primogen, Waldemar folk, somebody of such esteem and nobility. Housing across London just to get a pick at other Primogens and elders. One of such ambition to just skim off the top of the blood tax that he collects, one that he levies so heavy-handedly. Curious. Is this what the domain should stand for? I thought, when Stanford took over, that the proclivities of House Blackcomb would end. But, like a roach, well, persist.
What about folks who immediately pay attention to this? Sorry, you're not finished?
No, you're fine. You wonder what would bring a man who got such a great deal to act in such a way. Truly. I know what was in here. What happened all those years ago. And I'm willing to let bygones be bygones, but this is several steps removed from a step too far. I'm curious, who here knows kindred who have had their domains evicted? Blood dolls removed, in essence, or just, and by such evictions, lost blood dolls and territory to feed. And he'll sort of like look to the crowd to see if he can get an answer. On that.
Primogen folks will say, "How dare you accuse me?" I know my methods may often be perceived as cold, but I have always carried myself with distinguished honour, and I would have never performed such a betrayal to the king or the queen as you attribute to me. How dare you? Without even a shred of evidence or shame. Mr. Smith,
Yep.
as you're saying all this, and as attention has sort of centered on you and Mr. Fox, the crowd pretty much on your side, mostly, given the rumours that have been spreading throughout the Elysium. You notice that while this has all been going on, Lady Kana has rather discreetly made her way up to the table of the king and the queen. Can you make me a social roll, by the way?
What social role would this be? I'm assuming this would be like presence expression.
Yes. You may add city
Right.
status if you have it.
I do have city status. I do, in fact, have some of that dank city status. I also have spending a willpower. I also have a specialty in speeches. Does that apply? Or oration? Can't remember. One or the other.
Fair enough. Go right ahead. You will contest, but it will not be resisted, so you get no dice penalties.
Willpower. Got 2 successes.
What does he get? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, how many successes did you get, sorry?
2.
Okay. He does have high city status.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, add 3 additional dice, by the way, because of your thing. Because of the attitude that you spread for rumors.
Cool.
Yeah. And, oh, his city status is higher, so his dice roll is quite high.
Yeah. I got another success, so 3.
Okay, why are you rolling this?
I'm rolling in a dice roller 1. Oh, I rolled this in Tiger server. My bad.
That's fine. So you got 3 successes, so you draw. So the audience splits down partisan lines, really. The Invictus back their man, even if a lot of them don't really like him. And the Carthians and those that feel wronged by Primogen folks back you. Or at least that's what it appears to be. the way the people, the way the kindred jeer back and forth between each other and applaud for each side seems to suggest a fairly divisive split regarding these accusations.
Mm-hmm.
You see Kana whisper a few words into the ears of Morgan and Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
About 3 or 4 words. And then just walk away.
Mm-hmm. Can I get a bead on the king and queen?
Yeah, sure. You don't really have to read Morgan. She looks positively livid. Stanford looks somewhat alarmed. But go ahead and make your empathy roll for more information.
German, the Bren, German. You know what? I'll spit that 6.5 speed. I don't know why I said it like that. I'll put road on it.
Alrighty.
9.
It would seem Kana has backed up your statement to the king and the queen while attention in the court was focused elsewhere.
Nice.
Which has left Morgan furious and Stanford shocked. I wouldn't say angry, but shocked.
Well, seems that we're at an impasse, but this is an invictus court, and I would not be abiding etiquette if we didn't defer to the highest power in the land. After all, they're the people who ultimately will make the decision of who's right and wrong. Isn't it? Oh.
Morgan will say, yes, and there is quite a lot to say that I think needs to be said. This, as Mr. Smith says, many sacrifices have been made to ensure the mutual prosperity of this domain for all. Many mistakes forgiven and forgotten. Many wrongs having to have been righted. And what a shame it would be were the court to discover that our own trusted officials were once again betraying our trust. What a shame that would be. For while we may be creatures of the night, to take the blood and money of your own court and keep it for yourself. Primogen folks. And that would just be unprofessional, wouldn't it? To take away that which is most sacred to the kindred of your domain and those without, their blood and their shelter, leaving them to burn in the sun. Why, one may as well just be killing them, committing them to destruction. And what is that but a heinous breach of our laws? Quite, says the king. To reignite a fire that once risked burning all of London to the ground in these most dark of times. Why, I can't think of much that is more dishonourable and unbefitting of a member of my great sect. Certainly unbecoming of one that is a member of the Primogen Council. And certainly not an individual I can afford to have in such close company. So consider yourself removed from it. your title and our court and our domain. Go on, be gone. The crows are already circling, Mr. Fox. Surely you would not do this based on a mere accusation. We have accrued more than enough evidence of wrongdoing, Mr. Fox. I advise that you leave by the end of the night. Fox begins to actually breathe a little bit. Quite rapidly.
Ben's just grinning from ear to ear, looking at him.
His eyes have widened. He looks at the king and the queen, who appear to show him no sympathy at all. His eyes dart back to the crowd, then to you. He sees you grinning. His breathing lengthens. And then he lunges at you. But before he reaches you, his head is immediately slung backwards. By the hand of your friend in the guillotines. Who will beat the ever-loving shit out of him. The Queen will take a sip of her drink. And there'll be some raucous cheers and clapping from the crowd.
Ben is egging on the fight. Ben has gotten off the chair and is egging on the fight.
Yeah, get him, boss. Kick him.
Get him, kick him off.
Get him, boss. Yeah, hog him up real good. And soon he'll be little more than a bloody pulp.
Memories. Ben mutters to himself.
The seneschal will approach the king and the queen. It appears we may need a new seneschal, your majesties. A new primogeniture, your majesties. Yes, we should discuss that. I believe we have someone in mind. And my dear friend, Mr. Smith, would you like to end the scene there?
I'll end it on, like, Ben probably buried Chav somewhere and he just recounts it
Aww.
to his friend. I think that's a good place to separate down the scene.
And thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you all one last time. Bye-bye.